Hi, my name's Lee Parker. I'm CEO and founder of Parker Sourcing, and we're here today as part of the Small Business Saturday bus tour in Manchester to let everyone know to think big and shop small. Thank you.
Okay, and now we're going to hear from Lee.
Intro?
Yeah. Now we're going to hear from Lee a little bit more about his story and journey as a small business.
Good morning. So I was invited here today to kind of spread my message, my journey about small business. I am CEO, founder of Parker Sourcing Limited, based in Manchester. I am a previous 100 and part of the 100 alumni from 2014 for Small Business Saturday, and for this year I'm also Northwest champion for Small Business Saturday to try and help get that message across, not only locally and regionally but also nationally. So when I was asked to say something today, I kind of had to think, well, what do you say? You know, there's so much to get across to a wide audience. So I thought the easiest thing to do was actually just tell you my story from where it all started. But before I start that, you know, I meet a lot of small businesses nationally, and the one thing that I see from business owners and those that work within those individual businesses is passion. So I'm kind of theming this around passion today. So it all started in 2003. I graduated from university in business and economics, and like many students, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do when I graduated, but it was obvious that I had to start actually earning some money. So I walked through my local city. I registered with a number of recruitment agencies, and went in, got interviewed, got grilled, sat a load of aptitude tests, and after plenty of coffee and numerous conversations about what I didn't know what I wanted to do, the company asked me if I actually wanted to go and work for them as a recruitment consultant. And it's fair to say within the industry, when you ask someone why did you get into recruitment, no one knows. No one sets out to think that they want to become a recruitment consultant. Well, that was me. I had no idea. But at the same time, I had my parents in the back of my head saying, you need to go out there, you need to earn some money. So I thought I'd give it a crack. 4 years later, I was pretty good at it. I was managing the Southwest region and looking after just over 30 heads. Yeah, it taught me a lot. You know, there was a lot that I loved about the industry. There was a lot I didn't like about the industry, and I thought this was now about time to make a change, specialise in something. I come from a family of who have several businesses, so I'm always walking around trying to figure out how I can do something better or how I can solve problems. So I joined a company in the Southwest that specialised in engineering and aerospace. I think at that time I always thought that I wanted to do something myself, but I wasn't quite ready. And the reason for that is because I needed life experience and industry experience. So I work with some of the world's multinational organisations, from Rolls-Royce to Airbus, Boeing, across 26 countries. And I stayed at that company for 18 years. In the meantime, scheming and trying to come up with a project that I felt that I could kickstart myself. And lo and behold, in November 2011, I took a giant leap and I started Parker Sourcing. I started Parker Sourcing not only just to compete with other recruitment agencies, but actually deliver something different to the industry. My USP is very different. It's not being delivered within the industry at the moment, and that's what sets Parker Sourcing aside from the other companies within my sector. That with a loyal client base, plenty of coffee, and a lot of support from my wife. You know, that kind of helped with the South Down, because one of the biggest things about starting up a business is taking that leap. You know, I'm not going to have the pay slip at the end of the month. You know, how am I going to afford the running costs? But lo and behold, I pulled through. Really enjoying it. we are growing. The company initially started off in Worcestershire, it's now in Manchester, but now I'm dealing with clients in the EU, the Middle East, and also Americas as well. So that's bringing a wide range of experiences, not only to me, but also my staff as well. So how does all this link in with Small Business Saturday? Well, it's interesting. In 2014, so last year, I get inundated with business industry news, economics, the Chamber, FSB, but one stood out for me, and it was a marketing email from the Small Business Saturday team. And what was different about the message is that it was a message to not focus on large corporations, but bring the attention to small individual businesses across the UK. It was already being delivered, the campaign was being delivered successfully in the States, and when it came to the UK, I think the first year was a bit rocky, but they learned from the second year, and I thought, well, this is the right time to have a look at this email. So I filled out the form. I did an incredibly cheesy YouTube video which lasted 2 minutes, but it felt like 5, and I awaited to see what would happen. And it was August the 8th 2014 that I got an email from the Small Business Saturday team, and the reason I remember it is because I was sat in York on my anniversary having a meal, and my wife had left to go and get a drink, and the email came through saying, "You are part of one of the 100." And I took a quick gasp of breath. I had a bit of my drink, and it was trying to sink in. And the reason I suppose it was so emotional was because as a small business, the only way you get recognised is by your consumer, by your client. So something of this magnitude, it made me feel proud of what I'd achieved, and that's the message with Small Business Saturday. So I contacted the team eagerly, and one of the 100, as one of the 100, you have a specific day of the year where the Small Business Saturday team will get together, and they will tweet, they will like, they'll comment, they'll share, they'll help you with press releases. It was a really fantastic day, and ironically it was a year ago today. It was November the 11th 2014 that was my 100 day. So that's led to me meeting new businesses within my area and nationally, a bit of an experience in terms of what else has come from it. On Small Business Saturday itself, I had a call from Sky News, of all people, and they wanted me to take part in as part of a live broadcast on Small Business Saturday. So I was a bit taken back. I was like, well, you know, what do you say, what do you do? So I called the Small Business Saturday team. I called Catherine, and she gave me a bit of advice, and she said, just go with the flow. So they called me the day prior. They stipulated what they wanted to do. It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, live. It would last a couple of minutes, which I thought, fine, that's not too tedious. Didn't really get a wink of sleep because I was swatting through the books with facts and figures, which incidentally weren't useful. But the day came, the Sky van turned up, and they asked me the day prior, where do you want to do the interview? And their heart was set on Manchester, but I was supporting a small local fair on Small Business Saturday, which kind of just gives you an idea of the scope of Small Business Saturday and the impact. I was at a well-being farm in rural Pennines, where there were 30 small businesses coming together for a fair. So I thought that's a fantastic location. It was Christmassy for Sky News to rock up. So they came up in their van. They said it was 5 minutes till we go live. I had the earpiece, I could hear the studio in my ear, and I was thinking, well, hang on a minute, I haven't been briefed yet. What am I saying? And you could hear the live show in your ear, and the producer came on and said, right, 30 seconds to roll. I said, I haven't been briefed, what are we talking about? So this leads me back to passion, because the interview didn't last 2 minutes, it lasted 5 minutes. And the questions that were being asked were about small business in general, how it's affected me as an individual, but also my customers. And the reason I felt that I did okay within that interview and I sailed through it was because I was passionate about my product. I was passionate about what I do as a business owner, and that hopefully came across within the interview. Topped off by that, we had a fantastic visit to Downing Street. Now, you know, you see it on the news, and you think, well, how can you top off a live interview? Well, Downing Street, I must say, it's one of those memories that I'll treasure. I turned up at Downing Street on a very cold December morning to be welcomed by log cabins either side of the street, showcasing small businesses, listening to Karen Brady and also George Osborne about their passion, about what they want to do as a country to help small businesses. So the experience as being part of the 100 has been absolutely fantastic. And in January, the Small Business Saturday team contacted me to ask me if I would be Northwest champion, so someone who can continue that message within my region. And I must say, I've been very honoured to do that role and be here today. One thing I would say is that one thing that I've learned is that, I said it earlier, we need to try and get a message across for people to think big and shop small. Last year, Small Business Saturday, 16.5 million people shopped in a small business on Small Business Saturday. That was 20% increase from 2013. We've got 5 million small businesses in this country. What we need to do is get out there, support them, understand what they're trying to do, understand their message, but above all, understand what their passion is, and it will create more opportunity. Now, my name's Lee Parker. I'm your Northwest Small Business Champion, and I support the 5 million businesses in the UK.